1,000 Words podcast. Join us as we discuss the antics of pro athletes, sports politics, and everything in between. No sport nor athlete is off limits. Now, get you a pitcher of wine and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Lene and Linnell Fletcher, aka the Fletcher Twins.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of A Picture's Worth 1,000 Words podcast. It's your girl Nelly Nell.
And this your girl Nay.
And this week we have a guest. We are joined by Rolaan Owens. Say hi to the people.
What's up, people? How y'all doing today? Hope everyone's well.
Yes. And let's just start off. How was your weekend? How are you doing?
Oh, my weekend. Oh, good question. Quite busy. It's cold here. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I've been living here off and on for the past 21 years. So I've been back here since 2016 this time. But it's our winter time right now. So hence why I got the long sleeve going on at the moment. So yeah.
Did you pick up the accent?
No.
Oh no, it's too many of us running around here, ex-basketballers who live here. We play dominoes and spade and everything you can imagine that you do like in the crib, we do that here as well. So we keep it 100 as possible. Trust me on that.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, my weekend, because I'm up here in New York, I had some family visiting, and I don't want to go into too many details. I'll talk about that next episode. But we did get to see Chicago on Broadway, so that was like the highlight of the weekend for me. And my upcoming plans is I'm gonna be actually going to Florida because tomorrow morning, because our birthday is this weekend. It's actually on Mother's Day, so we're going to celebrate together. Wow. So I'm excited about that. Nay, what did you do this weekend?
This weekend. I was jam-packed from Friday to Sunday. It was crazy. I had no break. I had 3 events to go to on Sunday. Saturday, I had an event. I went to see the New Jack City play live. That was really good. It was in Miami at the James L. Knight Center, New Jack City. And Tretch, he played Nino Brown. And Nino Brown,
Tretch.
From 95 Nature guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And they got the original G Money, and he literally looks the same. Like, yes, he didn't age at all. So that was cool. And then Friday we had a graduation dinner.
That's so cool. I hope they touring with that
They
play?
did. They already like the first 2 times. That was the last show, but the first 2 days was in New York. And Ice-T actually was there since he was in the original. He went to see it, and he was like, they did a phenomenal job.
I had no idea, or I would have went to the one here. I had no idea. That's awesome, though, because that's one of our
impressive.
Favorite. Yeah, that's a classic. Wow. Like, I can watch that any day of the week and be happy.
Exactly. Wow.
Anyway, so Roland, wanted you to introduce yourself to our audience. Let's first talk about your background in basketball, how you got started, and how did you end up being a pro basketball player overseas?
Look, I went to school in Chamberlain High School in Tampa. After I played sports, basketball and football there, I ended up going to Florida College for 1 year to stay local next to mom. She was going through some personal challenges at the time. Then after that year, I went to Cal State Fullerton. I played basketball there for 1 year at Fullerton. And while I was playing there, I was approached by a agent or / scout at the time named Yakub Hazard. And he asked me to try out with the summer league, NBA Summer League at Loyola Marymount. And from that point on, I was part of I was asked to play on a touring team. People don't realize beyond the NBA, you can go overseas, which you know now. But back in those days, in the late 80s, early 90s, they was sponsored team by Coca-Cola, Nike, Citibank, and so forth. They find players like myself who didn't make the NBA, but yet who want to go see the world. And we basically promoted the game itself of basketball, which is why you see what it is today. and then we hopefully get signed overseas to different countries and on contracts for 6-month contracts.
That's cool. So how long were you actually playing ball overseas? And did you play for different countries?
Yeah. My first one it was in Malaysia, played there for 2 seasons. Then while I was there, I did a short stint over in Philippines, then went back to the US again for the summer for the summer league. I did my small knee injury. Then I was asked to go and play over in Argentina, left there, then ended up coming to Australia. So Australia was my first place I played really that spoke an English language like we do, without having to learn the local language. And the food is the same pretty much. So the struggles of going to another country was great because it helps you adapt and become flexible in not only in playing basketball, but also in your cultural background and learning different languages and foods and stuff like that. So it was a lot to learn the first 6 years of traveling. But Australia is pretty much the closest thing we have to the U.S. as you can imagine, put it that way, except for just less Black people here. Let's talk about the indigenous people here.
Okay, what position did you play?
Oh, I'm a 2 guard. I'm a scoring guard. So I'm 6'1". So you give me the ball, just move out the way and let me do my thing. So, and to think about, let's put it this way, during those eras, the late 80s, early 90s, they were looking at, they being the NBA, were looking for the 6'5", 6'6" point guard, Scottie Pippens and Michael Jordan. So anyone like my size, it was very hard to be seen. People like Allen Iversons and Chris Jacksons back then, who had played for LSU. You were very unique players, that I say. But if you were anywhere 6'6" and taller, you will get a look no matter what. But anyone who's shorter than that, it's more like go overseas and play.
Yeah, and now they got like, I'm gonna say short for basketball players like Ja Morant. I think he's only 6'3". Steph Curry is only like 6'3". So, but yeah,
That's
most
right.
of
That's
them
right.
are like good shooters. They play that.
Yeah. That's where the game evolved because I've been a shooter. I mean, I was just posting something on my Instagram today on my story. It was sent to me from one of my ex team players in high school. A couple of long shots I made that won games, and I posted on my Instagram today. But interestingly enough, we didn't have a 3-point line at the time. So that was, and I was like, wait a minute, now had we had 3-point line at my whole, suddenly scoring 1,220 points out of how many points I would have had by then.
Right.
But again, it's just the game evolved. Like I just said, it has evolved, but it has also become more skillful. So I must say all those players in my age group who's over between 45 and 50, 55, a lot of us, I know some of the fellas say, oh, had I played right now, I would have done this and done that. I'm like, not really. A lot of these guys are skilled players. Trust me when I tell you, they do things that the guys wasn't doing back in the day. So look, end of the day, I respect the guys from my era, but it's a whole new era of ballers out there right now. Whole new era.
Whole different story. Yeah. And so I was looking on your website, the Draft City Ballers. Could tell our audience about that. It looks really interesting. Is it like a competition where you recruit players, or just explain it because I don't want to get it wrong?
Hey, you're not doing too bad with it so far. So look, I decided to. So let me go back one step if you don't mind. So after I finished playing basketball professionally, I ended up going back to school and got my degree in applied science. Start working in pharmaceuticals. Did that for 2 years. Ended up going into the space of hospital and as a medical device rep. So I was in theater, pretty much in surgery, for about 11 years of my life. And while I was doing that, I was missing basketball. While I was watching the game, I have a son who I coached a lot, but I just kept missing something about the game because it's part of my DNA. But I also saw the game start to change. And in 2019, I started getting back into training some of the up and coming players. There's a lot of Americans over here who I know, and I know their kids. Ben Simmons, Dante Exum, Who else? Dwayne McClain, who played at Villanova years ago. He was out here, played Adonis Jordan. So a lot of the guys who people know their names, they came out here to play and have kids as well, sons and daughters. Moving and with that being said, I noticed the game has changed because of Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. So I decided to start to put together a competition because if you think about it for a second, you have dunk competitions, you have 5-on-5, and you also have now the 1v1. I think it's called King of the Courts now. Is what it's called, King of the Courts. But more importantly, there's all the street ball tournaments, the Dykeman League, the Drew League, and so forth. But nobody put together a shooting competition. So I decided to sit down, look at how I can design a competition where it's strictly shooting and find out who the best shooter around, like a Steph Curry, so to speak. So that's what Draft City come from the concept. Now, the name itself, which is quite unique, by the way, by living in Melbourne, people don't know this, but Melbourne's the only city in the world that has produced the #1 draft pick that went first. And I'm going back, for example, Kyrie Irving was born in Melbourne, Australia. Then you have Andrew Bogut, who went first in the draft. Then you have Andrew Bogut, who went first in draft, and then also Ben Simmons. So Melbourne, Australia, the only city in the world that has produced 3 #1 draft picks, and that's why I coined the name Draft City to my company name.
Okay. And how do people, let's say they want to be in the competition, do they just sign up for it, or do you go out and actively recruit?
Well, right now I'm just doing some satellite events, some small events. So I just put together find a location, go to a different city, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and I will find some of the better players, some of the semi-pros, put together a tournament for $5,000. Then those teams compete for the $5,000. I record it, meaning I got the film crew, and we use that. We're going to use that footage to promote it to the U.S. market, because the ideal big picture is what I'm looking at is once we get it up and going properly, ideally we want a team of 3 people, 2 guys and 1 female, or one female and 2 guys to play and compete and do circuit drills of shooting to win $100,000 cash money. And we would like the NBA to adopt this concept because it now allows the women from the WNBA to actually compete during the NBA All-Star Week as well. So that's my big picture aim, but I have to start doing it from doing things from the lower hanging fruits to grow the concept first.
So, like any regular person can try out for it or bring a team. That's good.
Yep.
Sorry.
So you can.
Oh, I can't play basketball, but I was gonna say that's good. It kind of reminds me, even though this is more of a shooting competition, it reminds me of the competition they had. It was 2-on-2 though on the movie White Men Can't Jump, where Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrison won.
They was hustling.
That was a competition. No, at the end, remember they won like $5,000 or something like that.
Oh, that was the tournament.
The tournament. Yeah.
Yes, they did too. That's right. Come to think about it, you're right about that. Yeah, but that's a tournament though. This is the same thing as a tournament, but this is all about shooting. Because think about this for a second. When you have it's low impact, so meaning you have no injury. So if you get an NFL player, you can get a NFL player or soccer player who can play and shoot. They can participate. And the one thing about basketball that people don't think about sometimes is everyone can shoot, no matter how tall you are, how short you are, how horizontally challenged you might be or slow you might be. End of the day, anyone can shoot a basketball no matter what. So you don't have to be athletic to do what I'm doing. The other part of the game, you need to be athletic or skilled to play and compete, but not with this.
Okay.
That's
and it's
amazing.
For women too, by the way.
And
it's inclusive for women as well, because if you look at the numbers, statistically it speaks to existence of a place of women actually shoot better than men on a percentile basis. If you look at the stats for yourself.
Nice. That's good. I'm glad that it's inclusive. And it sounds like something I would definitely watch, because I like shooting competition and I like rooting for somebody, and it's like the adrenaline and all that. I love that. So I would definitely check that out. I can't enter, but I will check it. And I also saw on your website that you also train athletes. So you train men as well as women basketball?
Yeah, I do. So part of what I do, 'cause I go back and forth to the U.S. And here, 'cause I have a house in Carson. So when I leave here, it takes a 14-hour flight to get back and forth. So you got to really prepare mentally for that flight, by the way. So I go back to LA. I meet some of the coaches who I know there. I go to the NBA Summer League in Vegas and shake a few hands and go out to a few dinners. So I have a sense of what coaches are looking for in colleges and high school. And then when I come back overseas to here, Australia or to Malaysia, I go out to the schools, find those kids who are on the cusp of being a good athlete or a good basketball player. I don't want nobody who have a name already. I don't want them. I want the ones who are flying just under the radar. Someone like me, so like my story, so to speak. And we just need that extra visibility and help for support. And that's why I come in. So I find those, both men and women, and I work with them one-on-one. I don't babysit nobody. Don't pay me $150 to train your kid for an hour just to babysit. I don't want that money. I get somebody else. I don't want it. I want somebody who genuinely wants to get better and help them get to those colleges and get an opportunity to play college basketball, if not pro basketball as well.
That's amazing. That's cool. Now, you have any questions about that before we go to the next segment?
No, he hit everything that I was going to ask. He hit it on the spot.
Stop it.
We're going to go to
I've seen your podcast before.
We're going to go to our Around the League segment, just news updates on players around any league. In surprising news, Patrick Mahomes' brother was arrested facing aggravated sexual battery. So we'll have to keep y'all posted on that. I don't know what happened there. 8 international players have been given roster spots for the 2023 season via the NFL's International Pathway Program, and 6 of those players are from Nigeria, so kudos to them. I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, but Aljamain Sterling beat Henry Cejudo by a split decision to retain his UFC bantamweight title. The Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach, Mike Budenholzer, I guess because Miami kicked them out first round and they won like a few years ago. That's weird to me.
Won last year.
Like one bad year, and it wasn't even a bad year. It was just a bad series, and he get the boot. That ain't right. That ain't right. And some big news that I liked was over the weekend, Bronny James committed to USC, so he will be going to the Trojans, playing basketball there. So kudos to Bronny James. He just wanted to be by his daddy. He didn't want to go nowhere else. That's right.
Yeah, well, look, but if you've been living in LA, I'm sure you've been in LA several times. It's hard to not want to be around the glitz and glory. You know that. So it's tough. Yeah.
And it's good because they got, I think after he announced, another player said they was transferring there, and then another good player was already there or coming there. So they got like 3 of the top players. I heard that their draft class was number 1. So they're going to win the title next year. That's what this means.
Well, it doesn't translate like that. On paper, it does. Because again, you can have almost, the way I want to position this is, you can have probably the three baddest prom queens at the same party, but only one of them going to be the alpha female, no matter what. But the question is, they got to decide within their group who that might be. So the pressure going to be not only on the coaching staff, but also the players, almost like getting where you fit in perspective. But people understand, sports is a place of, culture. You got to be able to get along to get along. You really have to. And if you don't, then you can fall short, i.e., Milwaukee Bucks, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Somebody gonna have to put their ego to the side. Somebody might be
there you go. Well, look at what happened with Miami Heat when they brought LeBron to the Heat. Dwayne Wade took a big pay cut for 4 straight years. And then when LeBron left, he wanted to get that get that paper. And Pat Riley like, yeah, I hear you, but nah. Then he ended up going to Chicago, but they brought him back. But so what I'm saying to you is that ego thing, some people can take a step back for the bigger picture of good, but the back end compensation don't come your way, then you're gonna say, why did I do what I did?
Yeah.
Right. That's not right. But good job, Dwayne. You
That's a good tag. That's a good tag for this podcast. That's not right. Love it. Love it. That's not right.
Anyway, let's shift into this first scandal that we want to talk about. I don't know if you guys saw the fight after the NASCAR. I think they was at the Kansas Speedway or something like that. What happened was Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson, they exchanged blows after a race. So what happened was while they were racing, one of them got loose and came a little too close to the other one, and it made him bump the wall, but not crash. So that's a good thing. But then afterwards, he came up and tried to do the same thing to him. And when the race was over, one of the guys was mad, and he went up to confront the other guy. And then he started yelling at him and pushing him, and then the other guy just punched him square in the face, and they had to be broken up. And I sent you the video, and you was like, well, when the guy punched him in the face, why they held the other guy hand back? So it's like it
was crazy.
Before he could punch him back, security just separated both of them. But that was wild. What were y'all thoughts on that? Because that's crazy. You can't be getting fights like that.
That was crazy. And yeah, the bodyguards or whoever be around always holding back the person that got attacked. Why is that? Because they know that person is going to be way more aggressive. But I don't promote violence, but I promote defending yourself.
He pushed the guy first. He touched the guy first.
Yeah, the gentleman Noah grabbed him, and we both know, all of us know that you don't put your hands on nobody. You don't do it. I don't care. You can say what you want to say to me and my close to me, but don't come in my space, because once you get beyond these walls of my space and this arm distance, like you said, I'm not condoning violence, but I do condone protecting myself. And when he put his hand on that man punched him straight in the grill. And yeah, it is what it is, So you gotta understand there's some rules to the streets, So,
it is rules at first. So first he was yelling at him. Then he came into his personal space. Then he touched him. I'm like, 3 strikes, you out. You deserve that hit. He ate it though. He didn't fall. I'd have fell. But he ate that hit though. He ate that hit. But yeah, I'm like, the fact that while they were racing, they was basically playing bumper cars. Like, that's dangerous. You can't do that. Y'all going 1,000 miles per hour. What if somebody would hit somebody else because he's trying to hit him?
Yeah,
the guy Ross is known for that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying NASCAR is very scary to me. I don't see how they do that. I would be I would be last place each time, because I only go up to like 50 miles an hour.
You would get past each. Yeah. You would get lapped multiple times.
She won't be racing. Sorry, but anyway, you'd be out of a job.
Right. All them sponsors will leave you. So my question is, because it was after the race, do y'all think they should get some kind of consequence for it? Like, can you get fined in NASCAR? Because isn't NASCAR like a kind of like an individual thing? Like your sponsors, I don't think any sponsor's gonna pull out or anything, but they should get some kind of punishment.
I do think they should get some, but NASCAR confirmed yesterday that there is not going to be any penalties to either driver. And they actually spoke to NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, which, first of all, I didn't even know that was a position, but okay. And he said that they looked at it, they talked about it, and they just chucked it up to it being an emotional sport, and that everybody was on edge that day. So ain't nothing gonna happen. But if that happened in a different sport to somebody else, it probably would have been a different story.
Yeah, it's been a lead up. Apparently the gentleman Ross, he's known for this. of putting people against the wall with purpose, but no one has called him out on it. But Noah decided to. He's the one who stepped up to the plate a few times in the past. So this is the third time having something like this. But this is the first time I actually had a punch up, so to speak. So you're right. Don't hold me. Don't hold my arms. Don't do that, because now you setting me up to get stole on. Don't do that. Mm-mm.
But yeah, I
Wrong with you,
read that
bro?
this is the first time they had an argument after a race. I read that, and I'm like, they need to go in a boxing ring in that case, because this is
There you
crazy.
go. There you go.
Anyway, so our next story is Nikola Jokic. He hit a fan. Well, not hit. He kind of like shoved a fan / owner. So in games 4, he got into like what they're calling an altercation with who people thought was a random fan sitting courtside, but the fan obviously turned out to be the Suns owner. But after the game, the owner wrote on Twitter, he said, "Great win for the Suns last night in an amazing series so far. That should be the only story. Suspending or fining anyone over last night's incident would not be right. I have a lot of respect for Jokic, and I don't want to see anything like that. I'm excited for Game 5. Go Suns." So he was given a technical foul, but he avoided a suspension. But he also got fined $25,000 for that altercation. So what are y'all thoughts on this? Because maybe it gets more intense in the playoffs, but it seemed like basketball is becoming very physical now. And like, are fans becoming too bold? Like, why he had to grab the ball and not give it back to the basketball player? Why he had to do that?
Well, why Jokers didn't let the referee do their job? That's the referee's job. That's not his job.
And there you go.
I think Jokic, and I saw, because I had to look at it several times, and then I went and watched his post-game interview where they asked him about it, where he was totally nonchalant about, like, he didn't care. He was like being a smart aleck, and he kept calling. Even he notices the owner, and he kept saying the fan. He never addressed him as the owner. He was like, well, he's sitting on the court, so he's a fan. He literally kept, and I just thought that was so disrespectful of him. And then I think the last question one of the reporters asked him was, why didn't he let the refs do that? Like, why did you go over there? Number one, because his player didn't fall in the audience. That was a Suns player. So why did you go over there in the first place unless you were gonna have him up? But anyway, his answer, I could barely understand him because he got like a really thick accent. But it sounded like he said something about they were outnumbered or something. It didn't make sense. Like, it to me, maybe he said it and I couldn't understand him, but it didn't make sense to me because it's really no good answer for that, because that wasn't your job. But then I went to the comments and everybody was on his side. And I'm like, well, let me go back and look at the video, because he was like, the guy touched him first. So I went back and looked at the video and I'm like, you were totally the aggressor, that like you were this close to this guy and you just did this. Like, I think the shove and the guy touching, like wrapping his hand around him a little bit, but that was like incidental, and it seemed like it happened at the same time. So like he was gonna shove him whether he felt, because he was so close. Maybe he felt like he was gonna do something, so he just kind of like get off of me. But again, why did you go over there? That's not your job. And I don't know why everybody was on his side saying he's the nicest person. He's so smart and his IQ was so high. And I'm like, what does that have to do with this? Like, they made it seem like, I guess he's this generation's Dirk Nowitzki, because Dirk was like the nicest NBA player ever. So I guess since he's so nice, they just on his side automatically. But no, I'm not on his side. Mm-mm.
No, it's a few moving parts in what you said, and I think that we go back to two things here. One is, you're absolutely right. You know, him putting his forearm against the owner, Matt, wasn't the right thing to do. We both know that. We all know that. And secondly, like you said, that's not your job to go get the basketball. They got referees for that. So let them do their job. You're not their ball police. Don't do that. And
That's
in
bonkers.
terms of the fine, that the 25 grand should have been more than that. I would have suspended him. I'm gonna tell you why I would have suspended him is because end of the day, the way I like people to think about this, situations, and that is there's always a starting point, no matter what you look at. It starts somewhere, because anything beyond the starting point, you can point those things out if you want. Almost like a breakup. Someone cheat on you, then they do this and do this and do that. No. Forget about what happens afterwards. The initial thing that happened is that he went over there to get the ball from the owner. That he shouldn't have done that. So anything that transpired after that, it's going to be chaos. So he should have been suspended for at least one game, so all the players know if the ball goes into the audience, go to the fans, that's not your job, because that could have went south very quick.
It could.
So that's my opinion, of course, but that's just me being a fan and an ex-player, and also just seeing how that's another story. But anyway, I'm leaving that one alone. But yeah.
But I do have a spicy question for y'all. If that was Draymond, would he have been suspended?
He would have been suspended. We all know that. We all know that.
2 games. He would have been suspended. You kidding me?
That's crazy though. How they can't do that to that man. They can't do that to Draymond. He's trying to change.
No, he not. Anyway,
no, he not.
Anyway, in his post game, they also asked him, like, do he think he's going to get fined? Like, if he's scared the NBA is going to like penalize him or whatever. And he was like, he not scared because they're going to do whatever they want to do. But he kept saying, but the NBA is supposed to protect us as a player. I was a player. He's supposed to protect me.
That's true.
So is we fans just supposed to be able to do anything? And I'm like, he did nothing to you. You went over there aggressively and tried to snatch the ball out of his hand. Like, I don't know what you thought he was going to do with the ball. He did it so aggressive. And I'm so mad that people didn't see that. Like, sir, why are you acting like this? Was y'all, I don't know if they was winning or losing, but what is, are you okay?
No. He didn't win MVP. He not okay. He didn't win MVP. Embiid got that.
Nope.
That's the problem.
Wow, you went there with it? Oh my God.
Yeah. But no, did y'all, okay, they played again last night, game 5. Did y'all see what KD did to him last night? Okay, so I forgot who KD them coach, but the coach Money, is it?
Yeah.
He was drawing up a play on the sideline for his players, right? And then Jokic, for some reason, went over to their huddle as if he was on the Suns. And then KD just pushed him out, like, get out the huddle. And of course, he flops like he just got punched in the face. And KD got a technical. What? And I'm like, what is going on? It's too physical now. Like, what's happening? But they did say because the coach was actually on the court and not all the way on the sideline that anybody could approach the huddle. That's what I heard.
That's crazy. Sorry.
That's actually correct. That if the coach is if you're on the court and you're drawing up plays, talking to your players, anyone can go in the huddle. So that's correct. But going back to what you're saying, the why behind it, he's just antagonizing the guys. He's just throwing them off their groove, and it's part of sports. And sometimes, from a viewer's perspective, and because I'm a fan of the game and football, sometimes we see things we don't understand the why behind it. But being an ex-basketballer myself, there's some things I would have done in the past that that's what I would have done too. So I get it, So it is what it is, though.
And that reminds me, since they brought a white man can't jump. Remember, Woody Harrelson player said he was talking trash so he could get into their heads at the end the competition. So I was like, so Jokic like that? I didn't know he'd be like that. Okay.
Think about that. Well, the effect goes, it's magnified. If somebody you walk by, if you walk at a cafe in Buckhead in Atlanta, just walking, minding your business, going to your car, and someone say, "Oh, look at her shoe," and you hear it. Your mind gonna say, what's wrong with my damn shoes? You're gonna react. That's what I'm saying. It's just to get you to react. That's all it is. There's nothing more. I hope you're wearing Chanel,
That's
by the
so
way.
funny. That's hilarious. But okay, since we are talking about the playoffs, let's talk about my boy LeBron versus Steph Curry's. So the Lakers are up 3-1.
Yep.
Do y'all think they're gonna close it out tonight? They play in like a 30 minutes. I need them to close it out.
I don't think they're gonna close it out tonight, but I think they're gonna win the series. Which I hate to say because I was rooting for Golden State, but
You were rooting against LeBron. Anybody LeBron played, you root for them. So you really root against LeBron. You didn't root for Golden State.
so I
Really?
don't like. I don't
You
never.
don't like LeBron.
I don't not like him. I'm not a fan. Everybody that watches everybody that watches basketball have to be a fan of his? I don't get it.
No, but you never root for his team.
Because
They could be playing the sorriest team in America. She gonna root for the sorry team, knowing where they gonna beat them.
they the
She just
underdogs.
whatever.
How long have you had this? I'm gonna sit on the couch here. How long have you had this problem for? Hold on for a second. Let me write this down.
That is a problem.
That's a problem.
Oh, you kidding? This is LeBron James. Are you kidding me?
And I'm not saying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not good. Obviously, I can't sit up here and say that he's great. I'm just not a fan. There's a lot of great football players that I'm not a fan of. There's a lot of great golfers that I'm not a fan of. Do I have to be a fan of Tiger Woods?
No.
Do I have to be a fan of Eli Manning? No.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, give me two things about LeBron that you're not a fan of. I just want to just understand it. That's all.
I need to listen.
First of all, it's nothing specific. No. It's just that I think as soon as he came in the league, first of all, everybody jumped on his bandwagon, and I normally go for underdogs. So I was like, okay, everybody can be over there. I'm gonna be over here. He's like the best of the best. Why would he got enough fans? Remember Kanye West said he had enough fans? Okay, so I'm over here now.
He got enough fans.
He got enough fans. He don't need me. He don't need me.
Wow.
So what do you think is going to happen in this series?
All right, look. I think that what has happened is that Golden State knew their challenges, meaning they're undersized. They knew that straight away. So going in undersized, they need to figure out, okay, what can they get away with to get them some wins on the board first, which they only got the one win, obviously. And they've been trying to move some pieces around these last couple of games and to see what works. And if you look at the last play in the last game, when they show that Draymond caught the ball at the top of the key and went baseline to pass it to the corner that's an old play that they did 2016. LeBron remembers that play, and no different than the what's his name, Devin, the coach there, Darvin Ham, the coach. They've done their research. They know this stuff. So what I'm saying to you is, to answer your question the short, long way, I think that they will get another 2 games out of this, and it go to game 7. And game 7 is going to. I believe it go to game 7, but I think overall that they, being the Lakers, will end up winning it in game 7. The only reason.
Was it the Lakers? I know LeBron was on the team, but remember a few years back when they went to a game 7 and they lost, they were home. It was against LeBron's team, and I couldn't believe it.
I get that.
They had 2 chances to close that out.
Yeah,
this is the get back. This is the get back. Remember, this is the get back. Steph have not forgotten, nor have Clayton, nor have Draymond Green. This is the get back. They know they're 3-1 down right now. Their chance to get them back. Trust. And when it
I can't.
happens, we're gonna do another podcast when it happens. You're gonna call me back. Hey, Ro, let's do another podcast.
It also, because I think we mentioned this last week, but Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook will get a ring if the Lakers win. What you think about that? I mean, rules are rules, but y'all wasn't on the team when we was actually in the playoffs. Because when y'all was on the team, we wasn't gonna make it.
Oh my God. This reminds me of when the Colts ended up giving Adrian James a Super Bowl ring because he left the year they actually made it to the Super Bowl. And I don't know, I don't even think that was protocol. I think they just did that because they felt bad. But
I remember that.
There's no feelings involved. This is contractual. Once you're on that team for so many days with the team on the contract, then you're still part of the roster during that calendar year. That's the way it works during that calendar year.
But Adrian James wasn't on the roster that year. He wasn't at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was the next year he had left.
Yeah, he had left, and yeah, they gave him an honorary Super Bowl ring because he had been there for so long, and he was great the entire time. And I guess he wanted to leave because they never would make it. And literally the year they left, they won Super Bowl. The year he left
with Tony Dungy.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but yeah, I don't think. I mean, yeah, rules are rules, but I don't think they should get one. But that's just me. So let's go with the Miami Heat and the Knicks.
Wait, hold on. As Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, if that was y'all, would y'all still want one and still rep it as if yeah, this my championship ring?
If they're getting a paycheck, which I think they probably would, based upon contracts, sports contracts, I think they deserve it because remember they have the mid-season trade for a reason, and it's part of, again, unless you know contracts, it seems like it could be an emotional thing, it could be a stepchild thing, look at little boo boo, look at little Pookie over in the corner, let's give him some steak too, it's not that, you know what I mean, it's contractual, so but no, to answer your question on the personal side, I think no, you shouldn't get it on a personal side. But because I know and understand contractual agreements with teams and organizations, they will get one for sure if they win it.
So you wouldn't accept it?
Oh, I would. I ain't gonna lie. I would accept it. I ain't gonna lie. I will say I got me one. I hope we get this far. You kidding me? Come on. I hope you get your boo boo. I hope you get your car right, your hair right. Are you kidding me? Now you want to get on TV? Shit, I want some of that residual. You kidding? Sorry,
no,
ladies.
I accept the ring, but I wouldn't brag about it or put it on a display in my house. Cause no,
I like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't brag about it at all. Cause whatever. So let's talk about the Heat and the Knicks. So the Heat up 3-1. Right now they're losing by 7 points with 5 minutes left. The Knicks are up. I think Heat wins this series, but it's going to go to a game 6 because I don't think the Knicks about to lose here tonight.
If they home, because they home. I can deal with that. That's cool, but I'm definitely going for the Heat. Hey, they're from Florida. I gotta root for them.
Same. All of us from Florida, from the south, from the bottom. My bad, from the bottom.
And also, y'all saying, how could I not like LeBron? Like, how could you not like Jimmy Butler? How can you not root for him?
Playoff Jimmy Butler, not regular season Jimmy Butler. Playoffs. Okay. I like playoffs.
Wow.
Anyway, and with the Suns and Nuggets, I think I want the Suns to win, but I think the Nuggets gonna take that.
Yeah, for marketing purposes. Again, maybe I'm being too political here with this, or corporate, I guess. But I don't know whatever you want to call it. But I think for visibility purposes, LA need to win, or the Warriors or the Suns need to win and go to the championship. Denver, they're not marketable. I mean, again, I played overseas for 11, 12 years of my life, and I see how it operates on this side of the world. It's for marketing purposes. They need those teams to win or be in the championship games. So
And what about the Celtics and 76ers? That series going back and forth. Like, I don't know who's gonna win. Like, that's wild. That's definitely going to a game 7, I believe.
I still like the Celtics. I like the Celtics.
They're stabbing them. They're stabbing them themselves. Are you kidding me? They're stabbing themselves right now. You kidding?
They be losing on last second shots and stuff. Like,
That's my point. You kidding?
and I really like Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, but yeah, they not looking like they were last year. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and it's funny. They said
go ahead.
sorry to cut you off, but then it's funny in the news on ESPN. I saw earlier they said something about the coach. You know, it's like giving a person who have done high school and college and got their first driver's license to a Ferrari. That's the analogy they use to the coach of the Celtics, meaning he's not prepared for this stage.
Yeah.
I didn't like the analogy, and it's kind of threw me off for a second. And I thought about it, but this man got pedigree. He not only coached overseas, he's done quite a few years in the NBA. He has the pedigree of the coach. And even though he came in as an interim coach, he has showcased last year his value to the team. Because remember, culture helps win championship. Culture, dude. And he's been part of the culture. So that's all I want to say about that part. But go ahead.
Right. And that's a good point about the culture thing, because I've been hearing rumblings about Golden State and Mr. Jordan Poole is messing it up for everybody. He gonna mess this up with the attitude and him acting like he need to play better. He can't be the third splash brother if he playing like that. He can't be the number 3. But anyway, we'll see what. Hopefully they just close it out tonight. But game 7, my heart can't take that. Like, I wouldn't be able to watch that.
You wouldn't be able to write that. I will pay to see that.
Oh, I want to stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'd be very scared to watch. Anyway, let's get to our highlight of the week. And I did pick a Lakers player. Lonnie Walker, the 4th, for his performance in last game, game 5. He's only 24 years old. He's a shooting guard / small forward for the Lakers. He scored all of his 15 points in the 4th quarter, and that's by one person. But the Warriors as a team scored 17 points in the 4th quarter. He almost outscored the Warriors as a team. Nate, did you hear that? As a team.
I heard that, yes.
Okay. And after the game, LeBron gave him kudos, and he was like, we don't win this game without Lonnie Walker tonight. And all of them like embraced him, and I think he got the team ball. So I just wanted to highlight Lonnie Walker the 4th.
Yeah, and when he walked in, there's a video going around when he walked into the locker room after the game. Everybody was like praising him and stuff. That had to be a really good.
That's a
good feeling. That dog came out. That dog came out. I mean, when you in that cage and you sitting over there, you just kind of like growling. People walking by. You know, the sun's shining. They've been fed. They got on a leash. You know, you're like, man, how can I be a part of this? How can I be a part of this? So when you get when you get your chance, they say you got to be ready, and he was ready. So kudos to that cat, man. He showcased, and because of that performance, he will get an extra paycheck. Now, if the Lakers don't offer him a better paycheck, somebody else will as a starting 2-3 guard next year, guaranteed.
You know, at first I was like, who is this guy? Who is it? And I had to get on my phone and search the Google. and I found out who he was. And now everybody going to be looking out. I'm going to be looking out for him.
And I bet you the Warriors was like, now we got to worry about this guy? Like, what can we do? That's so funny. But yes, I love playoff basketball. So always excited and happy to talk about it, and happy to have guests on like you. So tell our audience where they can find you, your Instagram, any of your social medias, and your website, so they can find out about your Draft City Ballers.
Yeah, well. First of all, you can find me on Google. Just Google me, Rolaan Owens, Rolaan Owens. Just find me on Google, and you can find a link that takes you directly to my website. The website is www.draftcityballers.com. I'm located in Melbourne, Australia, home base, but I'm also in Los Angeles, like I said before, 3 months out of the year. So I rarely have a winter. So that's always wanted to make sure my life was not being in the cold weather, but I'll be heading that way soon. My Instagram is Ro_Owens on Instagram. That's my handle. But I also have the Instagram for Draft City Ballers as well. Anybody interested in knowing more about what we do and how we operate, please hit me up. I'm always looking for content creators. More importantly, I'm looking for high school kids and some college kids as well who are looking for a NIL program, the sponsor. It's called an NIL sponsor, your name, image, and likeness. So I'm happy to speak to somebody to pay them some money to wear our jerseys, wear our shirts, wear something, go take some photos, take some video content, send it to us. We'll put it up there, but we want to continue to build the brand globally, not just in one spot. So, but yeah, hit me up anytime you want.
Perfect. Yes, hit him up. And thank you so much for joining us. We had a good time learning about you and your businesses and talking NBA. Did you have a good time?
I had a wonderful time. I got to get some more of you ladies over here to Australia to see what it's like out here. You know what I mean? We don't have enough black folks over here, and the ones that we do have, I call them shady blacks. That's just me, but that's another story. You don't know what you're gonna get when they open their mouth.
Oh,
I leave that one alone. But no, I appreciate you guys inviting me to your podcast, and I think what you guys are doing, ladies are doing, is great for the community, but more importantly for the Black community and for lady empowerment. All about it. I train women basketball over here. And if there's opportunities for women who want to play overseas, give me a call or send me an email. I'm happy to share some information with you on how that can be possible through my company or through agents I know as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. And enjoy my views.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a nice view.
I'm jealous. I might need to go to Australia.
Oh, now you changed your mind. Love you, ladies. Y'all enjoy your day, okay?
All right, thanks.
Bye.
All right,
Hey, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of A Picture is Worth 1,000 Words with yours truly, the Fletcher Twins. Make sure you join us every week and rate, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit up our email at podcast.1000words@gmail.com with any questions or topics you'd like to hear us cover. Also, check us out on IG at The Fletcher Twins and Facebook at A Picture is Worth 1,000 Words.